Hi, this is Jane Archie again, and we are back with our second episode of 5 Steps to Fun Putting the Pieces Together. And this time, we're going to talk about a little bit serious subject. We're going to talk about help in the theory classroom. Hi! Let's start with what the real problem is. Sometimes I think we think our kids are not really smart, and that is really not true. It really is that they're not actually fluent in the language they need to be fluent in. We have a special language, beauty culturese, I think you could call it. Just like teachers have a whole different vocabulary and discussion when it comes to their language with each other. So our biggest problem is really teaching the absolute information to our students in the best way. So let's start with what I think is going to be the most important fundamental piece that you start in putting the pieces together, and that is vocabulary. So what can we do to help our students in the classroom? I think I have 5 things that might help. I'd like to start with the first one because it's the old-fashioned one, and everybody thinks that all these old things don't work. But you know, I think some of them do. And I do know that we have the idea that if we write something down, it might just follow itself all the way up our arm and into our brain. Yeah, I think sometimes it does. And that's why I recommend flashcards. That means that the student writes the word on one side and the definition on the other side. And they do that, whether they do it grudgingly or whether they do it happily, have them do it. Because one of the things I've found is that when they know a definition of a word and they begin to understand the parts of that word and how it relates to what they're doing and who they are, when they see it in a sentence in the exam, they get it. We have to do more. Yes, it's not just flashcards because by themselves they don't do much, but they do a lot when you start using them. You could have a game with flashcards where in the room you have the students work with each other and just ask, can they do it, how fast it can go, and just they give them the word and the other person gives them the definition. That's one thing that can happen. Or they can do that at home. They can do that, I do believe, on some of the online information that goes. But thinking that flashcards are below you and way back, old-fashioned, don't help, they really do. Remember, our students have another language than we have as professionals, and you're going to have to help them get those professional words understood. All right, let's talk about bingo. Yeah, it's an old-fashioned game, but it's got so many possibilities. We thought that you could use bingo with pictures, and the person who was reading the bingo information would say the vocabulary word, and the student would have to put whatever marker or mark the picture in which that vocabulary word was contained. That way you have putting the link between the brain and the actual function of what that word is doing. And guess what? If you click the link below, we have a bingo template for you for free. Okay, we are on step number 3, and for us, word puzzles is step number 3 because it is a really good way to break down big words. Don't we all watch Wheel of Fortune all the time? Aren't we favorite fans of something like Hangman? Yes, we are. And so word puzzles means that the student has to find these words and really understand that a piece of a word is not enough. So a lot of times we find that they understand prefixes and suffixes without us having to tell them. Example would be hyper and hypo. We have a lot of those words, and if they understand the difference between those words, what's over, what's under, that makes it easier for them to then keep that concept. 4th step, have you ever played trash can basketball? So much fun, we get the kids standing up. Now, you can do that with basketball, you can do it with baseball. Fun is that you take the students and you're dividing them into teams, both opposites, or you can use just everybody in the room And what you are doing is either giving them a word and they're giving you a definition, or you're giving them a definition and they're using it in a sentence, or you're using it in a sentence and they're using the word. The options are great for you to do this, and they don't get to shoot or throw or swing until they've gotten the word correct. And that means that they are really better understanding both the concept of the word and the word itself. Step 5, we are at that step already. A spelling bee, really? We would go back to that old-fashioned, sure. A spelling bee is really fun. And the reason it's really fun is because for the students, they have to stand up and professionally practice how to stand and how to actually explain something. Now, the spelling bee can be the explanations. You give them the word and they really tell you an explanation, or you give them a word and they spell it, or you are giving them a spelling and they have to tell you how they would use it. But this way, we try to make them in front of a crowd be able to answer certain things, because one of the things we are doing, besides from understanding the words themselves, is giving them a little bit of confidence with their customers and making them sure about what they are saying to a client. Because understanding the words really is about client safety and their credibility as an individual. So this is one way to help them getting up in front of people and speaking. The last thing I do want to say about all of these 5 steps is that it's a consistent use of vocabulary. Oh, that means you, teacher. You have to use that vocabulary. You have to put it in practice all the time. And for things like the easiest things, we tend not to do that because we're used to just talking. But as a teacher, you cannot believe how students follow what you do. So we want them to follow what you are doing by you using the vocabulary that is important. So don't use, let's wash the hair. Use, let's give them a shampoo. Use, let's clean the scalp. Those are the kinds of things that are important. I forgot to tell you about, and that is taboo. If you've not played Taboo, please do so. It is such a fun game. All it is a one word that you have to make sure that your audience says, but you have a list of 3 or 4 words that cannot be used in your description of it. And this is another way to get vocabulary to be fun. So we thought we'd put a taboo template in there for you so that you could play those games. We hope that you'll join us again for understanding maybe the concept in a theory classroom, because once they've gotten the vocabulary, you're really only halfway there. You have to have that as the foundation, but we got to build a house as well. And so building the house means we have to understand the concepts. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next part of teaching cosmetology and putting the pieces together. This is Jane Archie of J Speak Solutions. Thank you so much for being with us.